Alright there, peeps. How's everyone doing? My coffee's it's nearly ready. I just go to the toilet. But as soon as my coffee's ready, good day to everybody. Right. I think I'm ready. You got your coffee? Is everybody ready? Right, yeah, that's sort of that's the mood I'm in today for a psychedelic picture. How's it going? Squirrel Sniper, Guy Fawkes, Just JP, Leafy, Dragonfly. Thanks for being here, guys. So I'm on the Magic Treehouse today as well. My 2-week ban lifted today, which I wasn't aware of. I hadn't realised it was gonna be today. And I happened to notice that I hadn't appealed it. I hadn't appealed the thing, so I appealed it, and they didn't even watch it. They didn't even bloody watch it. They came straight back to me with this. We've reviewed your appeal, and we've reviewed your content carefully. They've confirmed that it violates our medical misinformation policy. It doesn't. They're lying. And I said, wow, just effing wow is all I can say. The balls on these people are just astounding. The truth is out. I've been 100% vindicated. Yet the nasty little Germans in YouTube are still doubling down. So, yeah, that pissed me off. Just can't believe it, man. I shouldn't let it piss me off. I shouldn't be surprised. They are the absolute worst of the worst. So, what's going on? Guess what happened last night? Another live stream competition. I won the top prize. NASA propaganda giveaway. Guy Fawkes, the ban was allegedly medical misinformation. There was no medical misinformation in that. In any of my videos, there is no medical misinformation in any of my videos. And everything that's spoken on my channel is an opinion. So I'm not. I'm a stubborn git. Nathan, how you doing, mate? I'm a stubborn git when it comes to stuff like this, and I'm not. I will never ever back down. I dig my frickin' heels in with them. It just means running up against a brick wall. I'm not going to let it get me too pissed off. Went out for a walk with Alfie. Kanito didn't want to come out because it was too cold. Well, it wasn't too cold, but he was just being pathetic. Clambered under the duvet, and I took Alfie out, and they've been spraying at night again, so the sky's got shitty clouds in it again. So I filmed it again, made a 7.5 minute video because it just not going to shut up about it. I will never shut up about it. Sama, how you doing? There's a link in the chat. If you need me to drop it again, let me know. But I'm kind of counting on someone joining me. Yeah, look, we'll play. Actually, it might not have even uploaded yet. Gee, it still hasn't uploaded yet. It's only a 7-minute video, for crying out loud. So far, it's taken about an hour. Four minutes remaining. Excuse me a second. Right. Sorry about that. Just to change the settings on the upload. Yes, mate, it is restored. I'm streaming to both channels right now, just because I've got people watching me on 007 who might not be subscribed yet to the Magic Tree House. Zal Moxis, hey. Yo, how you doing, man? Great to see you. It's been ages. Been ages. I don't know which channel you're on. You're probably on the Magic Tree House. You gonna join me, Summer? I think I'm waiting for Callum to make a coffee. Let everybody say hello to each other in the chat room. So Summer, yeah, my here we go. Here we go. Mr. Sniper.
Morning. You all right?
Yeah, I'm alright. How are you? Oh, just need to change. Just need
Bit
to.
broken after yesterday.
So, you've been entering into these competitions and winning, man.
Just randomly. I don't normally do competitions or anything like that.
What's the
I don't go.
massive?
I don't go out my way, but for some reason, I just thought, just go along with it.
I've always,
Have a
I've
bit of a
always
laugh.
said, I've always said, right. I've always thought that people who don't do things like that, that really don't, they never go into anything, do anything like that. They're always the ones that win. It's like beginner's luck kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, maybe it's the universe. You've saved all that time up instead of wasting all that energy before. In wanting, and then when you really want something and it really comes around, that's when it happens.
But you didn't really want to win this competition.
No, but the scenario it was in, it was it was connected to how I was feeling at the time, but I didn't know anything about the competitions. So the day before, I was talking about Akashe Records, and then I joined a live stream the following day, and the top prize was a reading of your personal Akashe Records. Now, I was only talking about that the day before. So because there was a competition, I entered it straight away. And I even said to the lady, who was running the competition, I'm not interested in any of the other ones except the Akashe Records. And of course, when it came down to it, and it was the last prize to come out, she even said, Squirrel's not won anything yet because he was intending to win this one. And of course, as soon as she said that, a wheel stopped spinning and it came on my name. And
Yeah,
everyone in the chat couldn't believe it. They thought it was all a fix and everything,
yeah,
you know? And it was like, and then on the live stream last night, I watched a couple of lads that do a slot machine, a couple of slot things, gambling. Because I used to do a little bit of gambling years ago, and you're better off watching someone gamble than gambling your own money now.
yeah.
As simple as that. You can still get your buzz off someone else winning, and yeah, their competition was all about NASA. And everyone knows me in the live stream as the only person who doesn't believe the Earth is round. And so I've been ridiculed all this time. And of course, when it comes to it, I put up on the live stream, as long as I don't win the top prize, Tom, it's fine because it's NASA. And I don't do anything with NASA. And of course, the last one come up, it was me.
Oh man,
Uh, and everyone, there was like, 40 people in the chat. They all wanted the prize. And there was me who didn't want the prize. Funny.
it's weird the way the world works like that, and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
that's a bit like when I told my brother-in-law about Stephen Gerrard coming up to me. I did a gig, and Stephen Gerrard came up afterwards and asked for our business card, and we ended up doing. I did two private gigs for him. The band did one, so I did one gig with the band, and then I did a private gig solo. And my brother-in-law is a massive, massive like Stephen Gerrard is his hero,
Yeah.
his absolute hero. And so when I was telling the story, and it's like, yeah, this guy came up, and I don't know. He asked me for his business card, and then everybody was come up to me. I was like, "Oh my god, do you know who that was? Do you know who that was?"
Yeah.
No,
No.
he looks familiar, but I don't know. Stephen Gerrard. Stephen who? Like, I don't. It didn't. Name
Yeah.
didn't really ring a bell
Yeah.
with me straight away. And my brother-in-law was like, "Oh my god, oh my god." It's maybe it's because you've got no emotional connection.
No, exactly. There's no connection to it.
It's yeah, like not in that wanting. That there might be an emotional connection, but it's not in the positive sense. It's
Yeah, but
it's
you
negative.
you would have got something else out of it other than the fame of meeting someone famous.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? You still got the connection of whatever happened that day or whatever without having to be starstruck.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it meant that I wasn't looking at him through rose tinted goggles, man.
There you
So
go.
I
Yeah,
saw
exactly.
the man.
The same. It's the same reality, but just a different dimension. You know, or
Mm.
the same dimension, but a different reality
Have
because you're
you
not wearing those rosy tint glasses.
have you had your Akashic Records reading yet?
No, not yet. I'm waiting. I think she
When
said up to 10 days. She's just really busy at the minute, but
yeah.
yeah. I'm gonna ask if I can. If depends on what she's gonna do. If she's gonna do it on a video and then send me the video, or if it's all gonna be on paper. If it's on paper, then I might just do a video and put it up. Or if she
Also,
doesn't mind, if she doesn't mind just me uploading her video that she sends me. But I'm sure other people would be interested.
definitely, mate. I'd love to get you on and talk about it
Yeah,
afterwards. You know, once you've
and I could,
processed
I
it,
could,
and
I could do my own NASA giveaway with the prizes I get from there as well.
what is the prize? The NASA prize,
Oh, he was first of all he was saying, "Oh, it's a trip to the moon," right?
right?
And of course, it was like, yeah, right, come back down. And then he brought out all this. I think it was like a lava lamp, um, and it was just a load of rubbish, really, with NASA written all over it. But everyone
Man.
wanted it in the stream. Of course, the only person that didn't want it made a point of didn't wanting it and ruined the stream. Funny.
I think it's brilliant, mate.
But Tom was like the guy who was running it. He was laughing before he'd even because he'd read my comment just
Mm.
literally previously before the wheel was spinning. You know, if it's the NASA prize, I don't, Tom, have you got anything else for flat earthers? And he was pissing himself. Yeah. Oh, I found a new muscle I didn't think I had after yesterday. I've laying turfs all day yesterday, from 9 o'clock in the morning till 5 o'clock in the evening.
Right. Yeah,
Hard lug.
that's gonna do your back. That's gonna do
365 turfs. But it's a good workout. I
back
feel like I've
breaking
done.
work.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's all lower back.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just as long as you're moving right, you
Yeah.
know,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
not there's a certain amount of bending over you can't help.
Yeah, it's when you're reaching forwards with,
Yeah,
away from the body. That's
yeah.
that's the killer. And you don't have to pick up anything to fuck yourself up doing that.
That was the thing that always got me in construction, man. Like you've got your and also when I was working in the garage, when I was working in the rally car garage,
Yeah.
like the positions that you have to get yourself in and exerting a lot of pressure, or holding something in place, or it it was oh man, I popped my back and it screwed me. I couldn't when I was working in the rally garage, popped my back and that was it. Couldn't work. Couldn't do anything because everything that they wanted me doing was all bending and contorting around and under the cars or inside the cars doing fabrication and stuff. It was impossible, absolutely impossible. And I just remember thinking how many jobs out there are that health and safety doesn't really mean, health and safety guidelines on lifting and all that sort of stuff. It doesn't play out into the actual job. It doesn't. You can't avoid some things.
Yeah. I mean, years ago, I did about 3 or 4 months doing intricate soldering years ago. And I tell you, that fucks your eyes up, fucks your fingers
Mm.
up, fucks your back up, fucks you up.
Yeah, because
You
you're in
know,
a you're in
you're just
such a
sitting there. It's like a
you're in
watchmaker,
such a still position. The movements that you're making are so tiny. It's just your fingers that are
and it's
moving.
repetitive. It's the
And
same movement, and it's the same thing, and you're doing it, 150 times a day,
I did it for
day
my
in,
dad.
day out.
I did it for my dad. Did just simple soldering and stripping of PCBs, printed
Mm.
circuit boards,
Yeah,
and
these all put them together.
this was like when I was 12, 13, 14 years old. He'd
Well,
always have
this
me
was,
down.
I think it was Amstrad that I worked with. They had their first removable hard drive, and that was
Right.
what it was all about. Was being able to take your hard drive out in the evening and put it in your safe.
Shout out Hippie Shake. Haven't seen you
Hippie
for
hippie.
ages. Good to
Hey,
see you. Hippie and Zhao, I haven't seen for ages, man.
there's hippie.
Make sure you subscribe to my 007 channel, innit?
Hi,
Because
hippie.
that's why I haven't been. That's why I haven't been on the Magic Treehouse. I've been on a 2 week ban.
Yeah, 2 weeks, 14 days might as well be a year.
Yeah, I mean
The way
it's
years are going, the way years are going now.
so much happens in a week. That it's weird. It's like they're talking about the same things, but there just seems to be so much going on every week, all the time.
Well, even my son, who's 12, he comes back on a Friday now and thinks that, his week's gone so fast,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. I mean that's. I don't think it's a perception thing. I think it's an actuality. Like that time has sped up somehow. I don't
Mm.
know how, but it has. It's not just because I'm older.
Maybe we don't remember as much in that day to make it go faster. Maybe I don't know, maybe we're looking at it the wrong way as it's not actually speeding up. Maybe we are slowing down, giving the perception that everything else is speeding up.
I mean, what I do and how much I interact with the world has reduced so much that every day just pretty much merges into the next.
Yeah,
Every
yeah.
day's the same. I'm just you know treading water basically. Um, so that obviously I don't think helps. Definitely doesn't help. But I know that if I was working, time would go even faster. That's the thing. That's the word. That's the thing. It's like normally time, like when I was in this position before, when I was just at home every day because it was after my car accident, so I couldn't work. I was just at home every day. I had to make the day. The only way I could make the day go faster was playing console games, and I'd just get lost in a game for 8 hours or something. Um,
They are
completing
designed
games.
for that, though. They are
Yeah,
designed
they
because
are.
they're open play. You don't have to stick to the storyline. You could spend the whole day just doing
And
absolutely nothing in
Battlefield
some games.
games like Battlefield 3 and Call of Duty. I mean, I didn't get online with gaming until 2011.
Yeah,
Um, and it was only for a short period, but I went on. I was playing Battlefield 3 online, and
yeah.
that was insane, man. I could have just sat there playing that for
I started
18
off with the
hours a day.
original Battlefield. That was probably
Yeah,
like
that was
10 years
World
previous.
World War II or something, wasn't it? It was based
Yeah,
that was all
there
based in
was
World War.
19. There was different skins and different campaigns that went on top of the thing. So you could do a Vietnam, you could do all different ones.
It's
There was
funny,
even a pirate one,
I
at one
feel
stage.
completely different. I feel completely different about those games now, though, because I got so involved with the storylines of the games, right? I remember when Call of Duty came out, and I was really into it. This whole,
Mm.
especially when they're going after the terrorists, and it's all about um, the Middle East and everything. And I was really,
It's a good molding technique, isn't it?
yeah, I was really into it. Now I know what I know, and I see that game. I played it,
What's
and I was like,
there was a good look. Which game was it that you became one of the terrorists and you had to
oh,
eliminate everyone in the room?
that was Call of Duty.
That was Call of Duty, wasn't it?
Yeah, we
Right,
had to
yeah,
go into the airport and kill everyone. And do you know what? Whenever I played
yeah.
it,
That's you
I didn't.
felt
I
funny.
couldn't do it. I couldn't do
Yeah,
it, mate.
exactly.
I'm
I
not
was
kidding you.
exactly
I
the
couldn't
same.
do it.
I
It's
was
really
exactly the same.
right, and that's the
I
thing with
just I felt sick at that moment in time that
yeah.
they even put even the thought of having to put it in the game,
But the thing
and
is,
the thought that other kids are happily playing it.
enjoying mowing
That's
down all
that's yeah,
these people, right? The thing is, though, I do recognise this part of me that I can see it happening. I can see it happening in my mind's eye, standing there mowing down all these people with an LMG. But the act of actually doing it is is different. It's
yeah.
like I can imagine it, but I can't. Could never do it. I could never do it. Right? Not even in the game. I couldn't even bloody do it in the game. For God's sake, I just something. It just felt morally wrong to do it. And take, but even though the other little thought is going, it's just a game, Rich. For God's sake, it's a computer game. And then the other thought's going, well, yeah, it's a computer game, but in this computer game, the whole idea is that you're the character in the game. So what character do you want to be? And I
Yeah,
can't be.
you're not actually playing yourself, are you? It's
Well, that's
you're not
weird as
acting
well
out your
because
character.
because Hollow, the guy that I watch, he was talking. He was playing this game, and he talked. He said he had a decision to make, and he said, "Well, I would make this decision, but I think I think that my character would make this decision." And he made the decision that went against his own what he really wanted to do.
Yeah,
Right? That doesn't ever. I've never done that. That like it's just always yeah. I go for the morally right decision, and it always feels wrong. I never. I just feel like it's some sort of secret little sly test going on. You know, the universe, this sly.
yeah.
Yeah, but if you are given the opportunity, would you do it? No, no, I wouldn't. It's all right, thanks. I don't.
There's all these little tests every day.
The military have active involvement in most of these games. They're testing the public to see who'll go along with it and just do it. There you go. See?
Yeah,
And this is where artificial intelligence fails.
yeah, because it needs a different type of metadata, doesn't it?
Mm. Here he is, Mr. Wilkinson.
Hey, hey, okay.
I haven't got a
Hello,
computer.
hello. How are we doing?
Yeah, I'm going to have to come on camera.
Mr. Sniper?
I'm wearing the same t-shirt I was wearing yesterday because
All good, man.
I can. Because I don't have a woman here saying, you wore that yesterday. Put a clean t-shirt on. And there's no one I'm trying to impress. So.
Now then you can just rely on the sniff test, right?
Yeah, but that's the thing, dude. I don't.
Yep.
Like, it's
Got another day in that, yeah.
I can wear the same t-shirt for a week. The only thing the only reason I need to stop wearing it is if it actually gets dirty. If I spill something on it,
Yeah.
I'll need to change it.
Or
But
you
the sniff
doing
test.
work in it and sweating in it or something.
Well, no,
Then
because I'm
it's
never. Yeah, but that's because I'm never doing that, am I? If I was doing that, it would be different. If I was more active, it would be completely different. But
see, but
as
that's the thing
I'm
too.
not.
You just take off your shirt, do a workout, right? Then shirt back on.
Yeah,
See?
I mean, yeah.
Matter of process, right?
I'm avoiding all
Efficiency.
avoiding the workouts and stuff because that means expelling energy, extra energy, and I'm in this conserve my energy for the time being
Um,
until.
I think you'd be surprised how much energy you store and build up. And, you know, like I think that's why I have the vibe machine as well. Because I think there's like, like a minimum. I would call it a minimum that I do. And if it's the very minimum in terms of efficiency, I'll jump on the vibe and do 15, 20 minutes on the vibe machine. And
What's the
that
vibe
pumps the
machine?
entire system.
What's the vibe
But I
machine?
think that's like energy well spent because that keeps the system going properly. Because it is, you have to actually move things,
What's
you
what's
know.
the vibe machine? Is that like a Rife
It just goes
technology
up and
kind of
down
thing?
at 30
Oh, it's just a
hertz.
vibrator, but like
Yep.
just vibrates.
I have a big vibrator. Yep. It's massive. Yeah.
I have a huge vibrator.
Vibration plate is the preferred nomenclature.
You know what?
Thank you.
Right? There's something extremely satisfying because I think I've stood on one of these vibe plates. I forget where it was, but I stood on something and it vibrated, and or maybe it was.
Yes, I'm just going to say goodbye to him, and then I'll be out in a second.
All right, dude.
I've got to just do a little bit of tidy up here. I've promised my daughter we're going to do some baking some cakes in a bit, so I'll pop on in a little bit,
No worries, dude. All right, mate.
and I'll see you all in a little bit. Cheers, dudes.
Dude.
Much love.
Have a good one.
See you later, come.
I love baking cakes, man. I haven't baked a cake in ages.
Chefing.
So yeah, the vibration thing. There's something. It's weird. Like I can imagine it almost to the point of being able to feel it right now. I can actually imagine it almost to the point of being actually able to feel myself, vibrating.
Yeah. You can see that as a picture outside of you, as well. You can link that together and you can look at that picture like a frame, and then you can feel the edges of that frame. You go, oh, there's knobs on it. And you can grab one of those knobs, turn it up, and that can be a volume knob right there, and you can turn up the experience.
Mm.
You can turn it right down too, sit and feel the difference. Turn it back up. These are like using like the language that you have. So in terms of computer, that's where all these dials and knobs, because that became a lot of the language in NLP and stuff as well, because that's how we engage. Those are user interfaces that we understand. We understand turning a dial up and down, a fader up and down. So those are your interfaces that you have for your own system as well.
what's really surprising to me is how instant and I don't know what the right word is to describe it. The sensation, even though there was no sensation, right? There was no actual sensation, except there was. I could feel it, and when you turned it up, it actually the vibrating got really loud inside my head, and just, you know, it,
Mm.
in
Well, you've had that experience as well, right? On standing on vibration plates.
yeah, once at least. Like I'm pretty sure that's where I'm getting this memory from.
Yeah,
That I've stood on one of these plates.
yeah.
I don't know where it was. Maybe it was a gym.
But that experience is there, especially for it to, because you didn't have to work at it. That experience is there to build on top of, or to
Yeah.
dial up or dial down, however you like. Because it's like actively engaging in it too. It's just giving it more energy.
I mean, the thing is, I have this. I don't know if you call it an ability or what, but it's a when it comes to anything physical, like imagining pain, visualizing an experience, visualizing or imagining what it would feel like to have something happen, or witnessing it happening to somebody else, and just instantly being able to feel it but not feel it. Like
Empathic control.
it's all I think since my car accident. It's
Mm.
turned up, like hugely turned up. It's made me a little bit squeamish. You know, as in, I could sit and watch something, but I don't want to. I don't. Some of the things now, I don't need to see them anymore. I really don't need to see them.
I think I have to put my headphones on. You're really low to me.
It might be my fault. It could be my. It might be my fault because I'm quite loud in my ear, so I'm back from the sat back from the my microphone. Yeah, I was just saying that.
Oh, that's better.
I was just saying that. Yeah, it's made me sort of squeamish, but not squeamish. I just don't. I don't need to see horrific things anymore. You know?
Mm. Yeah, like been there, done that.
Yeah,
Huh?
yeah.
Fair enough.
Like gore and everything on TV, on films. Gore is, I suppose, is effective, but it just doesn't.
I could never watch that sort of thing, like especially the real reality TV stuff, like emergency room stuff. Like, what the fuck? Why are people watching this? It's like horror as well. I could never watch horror as well. And the horror that I have watched, it doesn't have the same effect on me. Like, it's kind of comedy to me because like you're expected to do this and you're expected to do that, but I just never got afraid. I never let myself or fall like have that suspension of belief. Never could for horror because it's like I don't really see the point in watching it anyway. Never did.
I used to like it. I used to really like it. Um,
Because you probably let go to it, right? You let go to it and you get those feelings, intense feelings, right?
I was never.
Fear.
I always knew I was watching a movie. I never had complete suspense of, belief or disbelief. I always knew I was watching a movie. Like jump scares.
You wouldn't get that far.
Jump scares, like it just became so predictable.
Well, that's why I say it's a comedy. Like, I know this is the scare spot, and you can watch everyone around you like go with it
Mm.
and go oof, you know.
And then I watched that. I watched Saw. I remember watching Saw and just thinking, like, wow, like this is in someone's mind to do this. This character is in someone's mind, so it's and it's out there.
What was it? American Psycho. Have you seen that one?
Yeah, I saw the remake as well with what's his
Right.
name,
Well, I
Christian Bale.
somehow ended up watching that, and I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck? That's horrific.
I
And I
mean,
went, right. There is no horror for me out there at all. That was just psychotic. It was psychotic.
hey TW, how you doing? DN as well. Good to see you. Yeah, it's weird. It's like because of this thing where I just, whatever film it is that I watch, I just kind of erase it from my memory afterwards. I can't.
What?
Yeah, I mean, I could watch it again, and I would remember things as they happen.
Do you do that? Do you do that for, like, if it's a good movie, you go,
Yeah.
I'll erase it so I can watch it again?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I mean, I just do it anyway, even
So
if it's
the
bad.
only movies you remember are bad movies, right?
No, I don't. I don't even bother
That you
remember
won't
bad.
watch again.
I just don't. I don't.
I'm like, well, what's left then?
I remember that it's bad. I don't bother remembering. It's like this
Yeah.
little flag goes up.
I
Yeah,
think
it's a bad one.
you're outlining too, because it takes energy to bring that memory. It's the same as your imagination, right? Putting energy in it to dial it up. It's the same with memory. You put it, like, you can remember any moment in your life, and it shines through when I just hypnotize you and say, put yourself in this moment, and you're fully there. That memory's actually quite strong, but it involves energy. It's like you actually have to put in work to bring that memory back, and especially, like, the longer back it is as well, if you haven't done it regularly. So there's effort involved. So it's not like you forget. I don't think we forget anything, to be
No.
honest.
Well, because I don't think it's actually held in your memory. It's not like it's held in your brain somewhere. It's
No,
something.
I mean, that's the Akashic records and stuff as well, right?
Yeah.
Boom.
So it's
now in a soup of potential. Because I see the ether as our future's potential as well. That's the outside of the figure eight. On the figure eight, you're focused, limits, but outside of that's ether. That's the potentiality of everything. Kind of like waiting, like the sea, the ocean, waiting for a drop. Or to be condensed into. And the easiest way to understand it is through thought, light, intent.
how much of your thought is your own, though?
when we're here?
I suppose at any time, really. Like,
I think when it's made out of all potentiality, it's really not your own. And in terms of that drop going back into that ocean, when is it? When it like that's why I say you have to give everything back anyway. There is no secrets. You have to give it all up. You have to, because if that is your job to experience, well, at some point you have to report back. Unless you're doing it constantly as you're going as well, right? And think about that, because I think that's exactly what we're doing here, is we're holding on to things. And this is truly what the detachment is about. It's really about letting go, because that's gaining energy too. It's like when you let go of that, you're gaining more energy, right?
it's funny because you talk about letting go. My mind immediately then jumped to what I was thinking about when I was watching Mark. Did you see Mark's Coffee Time today?
A little bit of it. I think I caught like the last half.
So he was talking
Talking
about
about light, right?
and he was talking about David Icke and his book Don't Go about not going into the light, and he was talking about that's where your family is and everything, and that's where I was getting all these images of all the things that have been described, all the testimonies that I've heard of people, and they say, oh yeah, all their families there, and everyone's welcoming them, and it feels so loving and everything. But it's all the faces of people that they lost, or that they'd never met, that were from their family and stuff.
Well, yeah, still
And
attachment.
right,
It's all
and
their attachments.
that's exactly what I was going to say. Right, that's attachments to this this realm and being in this realm, and so
This
that
body with that body.
could be that why can't that be the trap? Like, if you're meant to let go. You're meant to let go of all these things. That's what I've learned. I've learned that I had to let go of these things. Not and like letting go of them doesn't mean that I don't have any feelings about them anymore. It just, I don't know.
It's just like, in terms of feelings, you've felt it and you know it, right? It's like letting go of something. It's giving it up to the ether as well, and a trust that it is there in the ether as well, right? For all, right?
Yeah.
So, like in this body too, in this suit that we have that feeling in this suit, bodily feeling here. So bringing those back from the ether, you already know. It's not like you're giving it up completely and you forget it. It's not that at all. It's you've felt it fully.
Night, Summer. Take it easy, dude.
But you can bring that feeling back.
Yeah. Right. I was just thinking though.
So you haven't lost it.
What we're
right?
attached to most of the time, what we're actually attached to, we're attached to the physical body, to the person. We have this image of them in our mind. We remember what their personality was like, right? But so much of that is all ego based. That vessel was carrying a spirit or a soul. If the ego dies with the body, because it's just the natural if all the ego is the operating system of the vessel, And the way I see it is that if you play the game right, then aspects of your ego will be uploaded to your spirit, to your soul, to your consciousness. They'll be maintained within your consciousness. The bits of you that aren't good get left behind and die. So if you never do any set at work, and you're just this egotistical idiot that denies God or denies anything, this is all it is, I am all there is, then those aspects of that person are going to die with the body. And I think that's where they get there, where Christians, that's
See,
the
now,
whole idea of,
it depends on your beliefs, right? Because now the light for Christians may be a very different light for someone else. But you being a medium in between something, as Mark does, performs, functions as basically a medium. Because I would direct someone. I don't do it externally, sort of thing. Like, it's not for me to recommend for anyone, because that light is what they're actually usually that light is what they're after, right? It's what they want. But it's still, just because you don't have a body yet, like, and this is what ghosts are and stuff as well. Like, this is trapped between two worlds. Your body's gone, but you still have that body because you're still projecting it.
Because it's
you're still believing.
Yeah.
It's not the brain.
But what is it? What part of you is it that's right? Is it you as a ghost? Is it the ghost that's believing, or
it's still a body? There's another level to, there's more levels to these bodies. We only see the physical body here.
There's two types of ghosts, though, aren't there? There's the ghost that's aware of us and is trying to scare us, and there's the ghost that's not aware of us.
Different levels of awareness. If it's
like
different, because it's a spectrum. It's a spectrum. It's not whether you're aware or not. It's different levels. Someone's awareness is really low. They're just aware of certain things, right? And that's the beliefs. Because there's heavens and hells out there ready for people to go, right? If that's their belief and if that's what they want, that's where they'll go. And that would in this instance, that would be the light for them.
I mean,
however, I'm not here to say that, because I can see that the probability of light traps to be an actual thing, So for myself, I can't recommend something outside, but what I could do is direct you to the light within, right? And that's your own guidance. Then you don't need anyone else. You know where to go. Right?
I think that
it's not about trusting anyone else. It's about inner guidance, inner light. Oh, that's a matching vibration. Oh, this might be good for me, right? But to feel that itself. And this is where I agree with Sonia too, where it's like that sort of moment. What is your aid is awareness. And it's the same here. It's the same goal. Gaining awareness is increasing your spectrum.
I think that's the whole point of this. I think the whole point is about awareness. becoming
Yeah.
aware.
And remember, that's what's being stolen. That's
Yeah.
what we're losing here.
Yeah.
That's what the war's about, right?
Yeah, that's what it's all
Because
about. It's about taking our attention, stealing our attention, our focus, our perception, all to keep us distracted,
Hmm.
to make sure we're distracted.
look at this, look at this, look at that, look at that. Bang.
Zoe Mox says it will be interesting to see what happens once this energetic shift happens in the next few weeks. It's weird. Jupiter and Venus have been in conjunct for like the last couple of weeks, like, at least for the last 7 to 10 days. I see them in different, like just different distances from each other every night. There's something going on. What's her name? Annalise, the astrologer that I watch. She does the Gear Daily update thing. She says, yeah, around March, April, and the March, April, things are going to happen. I think they're really
we're in March, aren't we?
yeah.
Are we in March? What day is this?
We're
Is this a
nearly
weekday?
halfway through. We're nearly halfway through March, mate. It's like the 14th or
Wow.
15th. 15th, I think
Yeah.
it is today. Monday the 13th, wasn't it? So it's the 15th of March today. We are exactly halfway through March. Basically, 31 days in March, isn't it? So, mate, we're halfway through March 2023 already. Well, that's a quarter of the year gone.
I know, right?
Brother love, how you doing?
Feels like it just started.
What, the year? It feels like it's still January.
Or it hasn't started yet. That's what it feels more like. It's like, when's this year going to kick off? But like you said, actually, before, it's like there's a lot of stuff going on though. Feels like every day. And distractions, because you notice them. You know, it's like, right, so it's banks today, banks.
Oh yeah, but all of their distractions seem to be leading towards, like they're heading towards it's
the
like
same
they're
the same
speeding
thing.
up. It's like they're speeding up though, you know. It's like they're
Oh yeah. I mean, it's every day, and I think to see the need of that distraction as well, because it's really like at the moment, if you stop and look around, if you stop the ride and look around, you're not going to like what you see, right? So they can't stop the ride. They have to keep pushing the ride. And it can only go faster and faster, I think. When you do big pushes like this, where you're moving people's emotions around very quickly, you know, there's withdrawal and feedback from all of this stuff as well. And I think they just respond. They just, this and that and this and that, and always keep like a bigger threat at like nuclear or World War III or whatever, like those big sort of things.
It's crazy if you think about it now. What are these? What are the main sort of agendas going on? We've got the threat of World War III. We've got, or if not World War III, then just some sort of nuclear thing.
And the headlines and stuff is China and stuff, like, so China's involvement and all of that. So like
that's
pressure.
a redirect. So that's a redirect of attention now. It's
Pressure. More pressure, more pressure.
Russia was the enemy. No, China's the enemy. No, maybe China and Russia. And I mean, it's also obvious when you think about it.
Whose flag do we need now?
When you see what's going on with BRICS and everything, and what was it what the Chinese guy said? I think he's a military commander or something. He said something the other day, basically just calling America straight out. I don't think that actually Russia and China are these terrible. I think that all we've ever had is projection from
Yeah,
the West,
but
basically.
they all thrive off it as well. It's in
They've
all
got
of
to be
the
in on it
economic
somewhere.
models.
They've got to
Right?
be in on it somewhere, haven't they? There's got to be like there's something that they know that the people should know, and they're still keeping that. They want to keep it in their little club, right?
Unfortunately, like it is crisis, like profiting out of crisis. That does give the game away, because when you cotton onto it, you realize that they create the crisis. I mean, because without it, like if you think true natural disasters, can you even name it that to be 100%, a truly a natural disaster?
I was watching
Right.
Robert F. Kennedy yesterday on Jimmy Dore, on Jimmy Dore's show. I really like Jimmy Dore. Robert F. Kennedy was talking about how basically the CDC have done a report that states, quite frankly, that the whole narrative that the public is fed about these nasty little things that can travel from the air and go from person to person and everybody gets sick. I'll be really careful about how I talk about this now on my channel. So they say they're basically confirming that the only ones that have ever turned into serious issues have been ones that have come out of a leak and that come out of a lab and been engineered. It's never come from a natural. There's never been a worldwide issue, we'll call it, like
There
the one
has
that's
been nothing of anything that they can prove ever about
they,
any of
they,
this.
they also say it
Ever.
doesn't jump from
Ever.
animals to humans.
No,
There's
these
also,
are all on fundamental assumptions that are wrong. So, or based on evidence that is just purely not there. But that's everything. That's exactly the same as the nuclear, right?
yeah.
These are perceived threats. It doesn't matter if it's real or not, because it's better if it's not. It's more easily controllable. It's create the crisis. If you can get people to believe it, that's far easier, and especially when it becomes generational. That's far easier, far easier to do.
And
And
just keep
then
everybody distracted
you
with new
don't need the
things.
invisible unicorn,
Keep
because they
every,
don't exist. You don't need them.
keep everybody
It's just the threat of
distracted
it.
with new things all the time, even if it's the same thing being regurgitated as something else. Just every week, new news cycle. Keep everybody distracted, so nobody has the time or the brain space or power to
To
sit
actually
to
check up
think
on shit.
back. Yeah, to think back on things that like what was in the news a month ago, or bringing it down to, God, that was a big thing that happened, wasn't it, in Chernobyl? And what is it they say about the radioactive waste and all that? And I wonder what Chernobyl looks like, and go and take a look at Chernobyl, and go and take a look at the nature videos, people going through the areas that are supposed to be highly contaminated, and yet Mother
There's like
Nature is just
bizarre
over.
studies that, like, why is there not any problem and stuff? There's bizarre stuff you find about it, right? but what's clear is that exactly the opposite of what they've told us. Every time, too. Everything. Every time. That's the problem. It's the exact opposite of what they tell us. So what we can see there, what actually happened was bombs got put on people for bizarre reasons that weren't what they told us at the time and stuff as well, right?
Hmm?
Same
I mean,
shit, but it was
look at
just
World War
bombs.
Two. Look at World War
That's all
Two,
they've
right?
got is bombs, toxins,
Yeah.
and toxins through the
Earthquake
airways,
machines.
right?
Earthquake
And
machines.
then directed energy anyway, which is changing the weather and stuff. That's weather changing. I mean,
But
seriously consider like what is actually real in terms of natural disasters, because without interference, it's pretty fucking magical out here, right?
oh, mate, I think if there wasn't any interference at all, this entire Earth would be a
Which is no
completely
crisis.
different place. Yeah.
I'm saying all of the crises are completely man-made.
Yeah.
So they're creating their own bullshit, and the only answer they have for it, or anyone has for it, because it's trained monkeys, is adding more problems to it, adding regulations and all of this sort of stuff. Addition, when the only way to solve it is to back off, allow things to go to self-balance, which is what nature does, right?
But unfortunately, in our case, it means that what needs to happen is we need to. It's gonna hit a
On
flash
an
point,
individual basis and on a mass basis.
right? So
Right.
the mass
It's the same
basis, that
thing.
will be when a lot of individuals start waking, like the realization happens or whatever, and
Awareness. People
their
gain
awareness
awareness.
grows, and I think the ether, as the more people become aware, then that's going to be magnified by the ether and by each other. So it's going to be a flash event. It's going to be like, when you light magnesium.
Well, we can already see, like, what can you observe? Like, I'm not sure what's going to happen, but what I observe is speeding up of certain indicators and stuff. Like in terms of awareness too, like you and I would probably experience it in terms of how obvious things are, right? More and more, it's like it's been put as a joke in front of people and they go with it as well, right? That's how obvious it becomes more and more. So that's we ourselves gaining more awareness with everyone else as well. Because, there is still the ignorance. There's still the trained monkey as well, sort of thing. There's still the ignorance. Because you can gain awareness and ignore the fuck out of it. It depends where your focus and attention is. Always.
It just the thought that I just had then straight away was like this reminder that I just got to stop worrying about, like,
Absolutely.
I got to stop.
Worry.
Yeah, not
It's
that.
horrific.
It's just a.
There's no
It's,
need to worry.
do I
Observe.
stop thinking about, like, no?
I
I
mean,
can't stop
concern's a
thinking about.
different word.
I
Having
need to.
concern for other people, that's fine, but that's not affecting you.
Ultimately,
That's just a
that's
concern
selfish,
that you
though,
hold,
dude. Ultimately, that is a little bit selfish, though, as well, because my concern for other people is, how that is other people are going to affect my life. You know, it's not entirely
Well,
like
the little fella's
because of
chasing
what I've
the
because of like how other people have affected my life so much over the last 3 years because of other people's compliance and other people's ignorance and lack of willingness to even think for themselves. It here I am in the situation that I'm in.
Yeah,
So in that sense, like I want
it's like
everybody to
with
wake up.
the obviousness is the other side of the coin there too is that, you know, because it is that divide as well, and what they are doing, they being all governments and stuff, are clamping down in terms of that digital tag. You and what it really is like you're either in the fucking system or you're out of the system. You know, which is now
But
what
I
used
see
to
it.
be a very grey decision where you could be in the system but not of it, sort of thing.
Mm,
Now it's changing in front of our eyes because they are changing it to a system where no one is left behind for them, but
mm.
it's in the system and wholly dependent on it all the way. And they're pushing for that very, very fast, right? Every day with all of these things. And
They're
outside
gonna
of the
they're gonna
system,
they're
parallel
gonna sweeten it,
societies,
right?
a complete change in what people were doing before and what they were comfortable with before. Now it's some bigger choices that come along with it, I think, from what I see, right?
They're
For
gonna
me,
sweeten
I have made a lot of these big choices anyway. So, I mean, that's what detaches me as well, where I can watch what's going on and observe what's going on without being in it. So really, that's still bastards are not affecting me, right? The
right.
force of it, and if it is, it's a challenge. It's a change in my environment or whatever needs to change, right, to suit. Because whatever's going to happen, it's destruction anyway. Like at some point, you have to come to the realization that what we are witnessing is destruction, just on many levels and spread out, right? So that people can't see it, right? If anyone really can't see it anymore, that they're going through it in terms of suffering. So that's purely where their focus is. And they really don't want to look outside of that because it's scary from, it's the war and the nuclear and the more all of this sort of stuff, right? So they're clamping inward and going inward. So more and more focus. It doesn't matter how much awareness you have too, because the awareness in this case for these people, if they gain awareness, right, it's just more scary shit. It's just amplifying what they already have.
It's
People
weird.
really
It's
need to come back to that neutral first.
like
Neutral
for
is where
me,
everything's okay.
dude. For me, when I first realized what was going on, and by that I mean just the fact that everything that we've been told was a lie, and that there are some really like supernatural Hollywood things going on, man, in everybody's lives. But when I realized it was really daunting, but at the same time, it was really, really exciting. It was like for a second, I was scared about it. Like, oh my God, what does that mean? And
It's
then I was
different.
like, oh my God, hey, what does that mean, man? Because that means that
That's new.
they're hiding something really, really important, right? And so it was trying to find out what it was that they were hiding that was really important. And it's this realization, it's awareness, it's um having control of your own perception, gaining control of your own perception again, being able to actually discern and know in your discernment that you're right without needing any. You don't need confirmation. It's nice when you get it. It's really nice when you get it, but you don't need it because you know you're
Well, the moment's gone too. You're flowing with that. That is a
Mm.
flow. That is a zone. Anyway, where these thoughts are not even in there. It's just doing, right? There's no second guessing yourself, put it that way. Because it is right. I mean, that's, that, and, that's really our natural state. That is our natural state, our balance point. That's why I say your interests and stuff come from that interest. It's that middle, that neutral, where you're able to see the entire picture very clearly, and you go from that point. It's like going home, and then you travel outward from that center point. So that's, as opposed to sort of listening and asking questions and stuff one-sided, coming back to this neutral point, which is a definite state of being, 10 hertz, right? Alpha, which is our neutral. It's the idle for the brain. And then you start balanced and you start neutrally. It goes in that direction. So that's knowing what you're doing is right because it is right. It's balanced. You see it clearly. And whatever that means in terms of the doing or whatever, you're going with that. So that would be seen from an outside perspective as trust and faith and all of that sort of stuff. But it's like an animal too. They're just doing and trusting and having faith and all of that at the same respect, right? That's innate of this place, and that's what's been disconnected as well, right? And that is the feeling of confidence too. Like I've talked to a lot of people in terms of stage fright and stuff, like acting and going in front of large groups of people or whatever. And this is like a magnification of that, right? Horrific.
It's weird. Stage fright for me. I sort of nearly got it once, but I was so determined not to be the guy that stood there with stage fright, I was like, no, just do it. And it was weird. It's like I went into a zone. I just completely went into a zone, went up on the stage. I don't know how many 100 people were there, a few hundred people were there. And it's helped by the fact that actually when you are on stage, you can't really see the audience anyway. You know they're there, but the lights are so bright. It's hard to actually, you have to look hard to really it's hard to make faces out or anything. So that helps. That definitely helps. And being a singer, just close your bloody eyes, isn't it? Close your eyes. You can't see anyone, then do a Stevie Wonder.
Go with the music. Yeah.
And just get lost in the music. And that's what I did. I just completely got absorbed into the music that I was playing to people.
And that's a complete state change. In that state is no anxiety. So this is, at one point, 11, at one point, I would have been recommending beta blockers to people. And people that do it professionally and stuff as well, once they've had that experience of, then they're not good drugs to take. But once they've had that experience of blocking beta blockers, blocking beta, So you're forcing yourself to stay in an alpha state, which is not fight and flight, which is not nerves, right? And this is what I'm saying too, because when you're in that state, it's one small spectrum and you've only got what you've got to express. So you shrink up entirely, and you can see it as a spectrum, but when it's on, right, in terms of the body, and you are only feeling the effects of nerves and stuff, which is the exact opposite of confidence, right? Which is full connection, which is outside of that spectrum. It's actually connection with the entire spectrum. So what that beta blockers do is just block that spectrum. Now when you feel it, so then you could have a biofeedback moment where you go, you know what, I'm on stage, there's hundreds of people, and I'm not getting that feeling. I'm actually okay with this, and I'm just going to continue on with presentation or whatever you do, and it's fine. Everything's fine. So just having that, as soon as you don't take the beta blockers, there's the possibility of you either fucking it up with your own mind and these beliefs and stuff like this,
It's
putting
all in
yourself
the
back
mind,
into the
dude.
state.
It's all in the mind. It's 100%
Right, but
in the mind.
that shows you right from the outset, from that experience, or just hearing that being relayed, that it is all in the mind, literally. So you can change it with the information too, like knowing exactly what's happening. Like I'm in fight and flight, and there's ways to shift yourself out of it instantly. Like even stuff I've talked about already. Like connecting to your body, bang, that's already shifting you out of that state. It's gaining more awareness, right? Which is shifting outside of that narrow band. You're gaining more awareness.
It's funny. When I was walking Alfie this morning, I was consciously, while I was
Fantastic.
walking, it was
Fantastic.
while I was walking, but I was just consciously centered. And I'm like,
doing work, man.
as I'm walking, visualizing it, and
yeah, that's when it becomes really powerful. I should probably finish that for you because I'm probably left you halfway there. If you look at, that ancient symbol where you've got the dot and the circle around it.
Oh yeah,
right. If you use that visualization and place that dot to the physical point, and then the hoop around it. So the hoop's around your body, right? Like that.
Right.
And you can actually grab it and move it too, right?
Right.
So it's kind of connected. And so then the work, because what you've done, just gaining awareness of that spot, putting awareness onto that spot, corrects your posture and everything, especially while walking. That's the spot that's engaged. So it's just awareness on that spot. That's, a little bit of awareness there. Keep holding it there. But then doing exercise, working on your core, you can see there like, the circle part. So that center, so doing work, this is actually doing work now. You lift up. So if you put your awareness to that spot, you can lift that spot just slightly, right? And now things tighten up, things just happen, right? And allow it to happen, because this is self-balancing. This is you're just doing this to a template, right? All your awareness needs to be on is that one little infant tiniest little spot, right, of awareness. Around that, the circle around that is relaxation. So it's like the middle of the torus is going up, and around it is going down, right? Relaxing. And so just doing that, so gaining awareness of that spot aligns your center of balance and everything as well. But then doing this work where you lift it for a little while and lift it and move that lifted dot, right?
It's funny, the sensation that creates, or the I guess it's the
visualization.
awareness, because of the awareness of it. It's like a sensation of, yeah, like you say, like there's a element of tensing up to sort of push it up.
Yeah.
You have to, rather
And
than it
you
being
go,
sucked,
what am I doing?
but rather than it being sucked up from above, you have to push it up from beneath.
Right. There's a bit of both, right? It's like lifting it up like a string, and that pushing up as you're relaxing too. It's these
But I
two
think
types of energy working in synergy together as well, right?
if you visualize the torus at the same as you do it,
Yeah.
it releases that pressure a little bit, because it's like you can feel the torus
Doing its
pulling it
thing.
up. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy how vividly
Same.
I
You
can
can do.
visualize that, dude. So
Yeah.
it's bringing a tear to my eye, like how vividly
So,
I can
connection, dude.
visualize that.
And when you're sitting, so you start with the foundation, the jed, right down the bottom, core, because these are core changes. This is an actual core change that you're making as well. So tiny, minute little movements in the core flourish out to the whole being, right? So like putting your awareness on this more and more, doing little exercises is kind of moving that 0 point that you have, moving it up, which is actually gaining, your body can't help but posturize, right? Return to its natural state. Because you're pushing, because it's been laxed as well. It's dropped down this 0 point, and all you're doing is just training it back up again, right? Which aligns everything as it does it. And that's from the base. But as we're sitting, it's here, right? Underneath that V in the rib cage. So again, you have that loop, that circle, relaxing around it, pushing that up here. And it aligns itself automatically because you do it as well. All you have to do is visualize the bottom one, back to the bottom one. You see it change again. You come to here. So every time you're visualizing between here and here, see how the bottom one wants to relax, and you have to bring a little bit of awareness to it to bring it back again. Right, these are alignments. So once you've found this point and you align it up, everything else you don't have to think about in terms of posture and stuff, because it's already happened naturally.
But the hoop, have you got more than, is it a hoop per section, like per chakra, maybe? Or is it
These
one hoop,
like, I'm bringing it back to basic ones, right? Because these are the main three, and the one in the head.
Yeah.
Right. And that's when you position your head right. So you start from the base, because that's where your power really comes from in the physical. You can align that base with awareness. You can line the middle here, right, with awareness. Everything between those two align naturally.
Yeah.
Once you've lined that up, and it's the same with the head, throat chakra, all of that line naturally. It's like the extremes and the center. It's like less work.
Like the three strongest, wouldn't they? Really, like the
Yeah. Because when you're standing, it's the bottom one, right? Has all. That's where all of your center goes, right? And then when you sit, it's here. This is where my center is. And when I'm lying down with just my head around too, it's all in the head then as well. So like when you want to hold your body as well, like hold your body, we're putting it into our head as well, focus and attention, or the balance point. But you can feel it once it's all lined up as well. Once it's all lined up, and then you actually hear, and you're silent, you can hear your heartbeat as well. But when your head's lined up with that too, I can now place the car, right, for the visuals. I can place the car on your head and it doesn't bother you. You're like, sweet, I feel grounded. I feel solid, right? And that's literally all your chakras aligning and balancing too, front ways and back ways, right? Because it lines this way, which is the biggest part for most people, because most people are pushing their heart backwards as well. That's part of it as well. They, bringing the heart forward is and things aligning correctly. That's actually really uncomfortable for people. I feel vulnerable. I feel open, but it's kind of like opening up to life and being there for life, or shutting yourself off to life.
Yes, Jennifer. Is that for me, or is there another Richard in there?
Richard.
That's what my mum calls me. Richard.
Coffee time, Richard.
And my friend in Spain, she calls me Richard as well.
Richard.
There's only a couple of people that call me Richard. I like the name Richard. I do like it.
Good name. It's a good name.
I like the fact that there was a king. There was more than one, wasn't there? Was there just one?
Richard the Third.
There's
King plays, Richard, Shakespearean plays.
Yeah.
Wasn't a very nice guy though. From history there. So anyway.
It weren't me. It wasn't me.
Well, same as I guess mine relates to Columbus. So
yeah,
he was a bit of a.
Well, apart from anything else, he potentially was a massive liar.
Yeah.
Me and my 400 men just subdued these 4 million Incas.
Just played a game, played a role.
Do you know what?
Got given a role, I think.
It would surprise me if he had absolutely no idea about any of it, and all of it was just built up after he died.
Well, I think in a few cases, yes, they're just rewriting it, and now what we get told is so far from, because you can just, if you do it at the right time and stuff, and maintain control, which I think is happening at the moment too in terms of digitally. It's like getting a control over information, right? Which kind of has to be a trained monkey. It has to be AI doing it, right? So it's like releasing it to AI to do all their monitoring and stuff in their perfect technocracy. Already happening, right? Already happening. Just field testing,
Raven says, if history is all bullshit, he might have been a decent dude. Do we get to pick and choose the truth? That's the thing. It seems like all they ever do is project. That's all they ever do is project. So can we go back in history and basically every single bad guy that's ever all these things bad written about them, maybe think, hey, maybe they weren't all that.
Well, it's twisted.
If we go
because
forward,
I don't know if you can say it's truth or not in terms of a lot of things. It's like, how much, because something happened, but the story, well, from probability and odds, the stories and the narratives that we get are bullshit, because they're proven by themselves to be bullshit years later or every time. So there's a release of information or classified or whatever comes out.
It's happening so fast now, though, isn't it? It's like within months, the stories are bullshit. All right, it's taken
still
3
years in terms of, and that's why that's still kind of being gotten away with. It's like this compression, because normally like it was 10 years was the kind of forgetful period where they just keep hammering something, And it's like 10 years later, 10 years later, 10 years later, 5 years later, 5 years later, 5 years later, 2 years later, 1 year later. Where are we up to? You know, because the more things, I think the faster it can roll as well, like that, where people are not paying attention in terms of there's just too much stuff to pay attention to anyway. Well, as they think about it for their side, you know, they need all this stuff for their side, for their argument or whatever. You know, I'm sort of in the position that both sides are bullshit anyway. So, you know.
Yeah.
I think it's coffee time. I'm going to get a coffee.
Yeah. Good call.
I've been staring at this empty cup for a little while.
I'm just going to shout out to the chat room quickly before I disappear to go and make coffee.
I'll be back.
Hippie Shake, thank you very much for leaving all the links and everything. Hippie, you're awesome. You are. DN, great to see you, man. I'm gonna have to. I saw something about 7 months being pampered. I saw about your internal bleeding thing, man. That sucks, man. That is, and you know what I said about being able to imagine things, and because of what I've had happen, burst in my intestine, so I get this. I've got really good imaginations to all different sensations within the body, and it's even worse if you can't feel it. I reckon if you're bleeding internally but you can't feel it. So it's, you know, that sucks, man. I hope that gets sorted. I'm visualizing it. Your body's sorting itself out, man. It's fixing it. Got 7 months paid holiday as a gift, all expenses paid, family also. That is amazing, mate. That is so cool. Oh my God, I am so happy for you, dude. Seriously, you definitely deserve that. That's amazing. Wow. That's so cool, man. Oh, that's brilliant. Where are you going? Where is the holiday? Can you tell us? Very jealous. You'll still be able to join. You'll be able to join us. Put pictures, share pictures and stuff. You got to share that with us, man. You got to share that with us. You definitely deserve it. And that is probably all you're going to need. By the end of that 7 months, your body will have fixed itself, healed itself. So that's awesome, dude. Crikey, I'm shouting out the chat room, aren't I? Forever love, great to see you. Thank you very much, babe, for being here. And Raven and Zalmoxis. And Just JP, Jennifer Flores. I'm just skimming through the chat. Tamay, if you're still here, thanks for being here, babe. Why don't you come on the panel? Come on and have a chat. Guy, if Guy Fawkes is still around. And to anybody that's watching and not chatting, we've got 16 people watching, but there's only probably 5 or 6 people chatting. So whoever's lurking in the background because you're just listening, because you're signed in, you're not signed in, I mean, or you got it on your TV or whatever. Thank you very much. Jess Palmer, what's up? Thank you very much. Jolly man. All right, mate. Shout out, Jolly man. Yeah, coffee time, guys. I would say if it was earlier. So tired. So tired. You missed the R, but it works. It sounds really cute. Are you so tired? Are you so tired? Must go bed soon. Oh, 1 a.m. Not I am. 1 a.m. Hey, You're right. I've just received. Yeah, I've just got notification from PayPal. So Jennifer and Dave's Waffle House. Thank you. Thank you to Hippie Shake for blasting everybody with the links. I'm just eternally grateful. I wouldn't be here without you. And I promise you, I absolutely promise you guys, as soon as I can work, as soon as I can bring home my own bacon, those links will be gone and I'll be helping people. I won't be, I don't, like, it's only desperation that calls for what it calls for. I have set up a live. I've set up a live for 3:00 to play music, live music healing session. And that is a healing session for me, as well as anybody else that finds some sort of healing from it. I'm waiting to hear from Sterling about Dan, Orlo Amadeus. It's his birthday today, and Sterling asked me yesterday if I would, go on his channel for half an hour or something, or something like that. I don't know. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go live at 3:00 with some music, and like if he goes live, then what I can do is dedicate the next half an hour, and he can tune in on his live stream. And we can communicate live to live, hopefully. I don't know if there's
coffee.
Hey, dude, I still haven't got it yet. I'm too busy.
I know. Yeah.
Too busy talking. I need to. Yeah.
I'll just keep you talking now, and then you'll miss your coffee. See.
Nah. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna either, if you think you can take it for 10 minutes, right? Then I'll leave it with you. Otherwise, and Bogey, thank you, dude. Thank you very much. I'm just handing out some wrenches, because I noticed there's people what does not have wrenches.
Wrench it up.
Wrench them up. Jess Palmer, you're I don't know why it moderated your thing there.
Buttons.
Right, I think that's everyone. Jess, Forever, to May. Right. Okay. Or I can put a video on.
A little visual break.
Yeah, a little visual musical break. Oh, actually, do you know what? Yeah. Alan Watts and some piano.
We can listen to Alan Watts.
We shall listen to. I've got. What do you mean, no items? What? Right. This. Here we go.
Sounds True presents Out of Your Mind.
Right, I shall see you soon.
From the Alan Watts Archives, Session 3, The Web of Life with Alan Watts.
The web of life. Let me try from the first to indicate the point that we're aiming at. The point is this, that human consciousness is at the same time as being a form of awareness and sensitivity and understanding, it's also a form of ignorance. The ordinary, everyday consciousness that we have leaves out more than it takes in. And because of this, it leaves out things that are terribly important. It leaves out things that would, if we did know them, allay our anxieties and fears and horrors. And if we could extend our awareness, you see, to include those things that we leave out, we would have a deep interior peace. Because we would all know the one thing that you mustn't know, you know, according to the rules of our particular social game. The one thing you mustn't know, that's really not allowed, that is the lowdown on life. And the lowdown, on the one hand, means the real dirt on things. But the lowdown is also what is profound, what is mysterious, what is in the depths. And there's something left out. And our everyday consciousness screens this out in the same way that when you say you have weaving, you have, say, on this rug here in front of us, when the black finishes here, the black threads will go underneath and then appear again over here. Then they'll go underneath the white and then they'll appear again over here, you know? So that the back will be the obverse pattern of the front. Now, the world is like that. Our sense organs are selective. They pick out certain things. They're receptive. For example, we have a small, small band of what you might call a spectrum of light, of sound, of tactile sensation, and so on, to which the human organism is sensitive. But we know that outside that small band, there is a huge range of vibrations to which we have built instruments that are sensitive. Things like cosmic rays, ultraviolet rays, gamma rays, hard X-rays, so on. They're all outside the band of our spectrum. And obviously, there are things that are outside the range of our instruments. We may build new instruments someday which will evoke, bring into our consciousness other orders of vibration altogether. But yet, as yet, we don't know about them. So you could imagine, you see, the universe is a vast, vast system of vibrations and has infinite possibilities. All these vibrations, you know, are like the strings on a harp. And the harps that the angels are supposed to play in heaven are really this huge possibility. See, when you play the harp, you select strings. You don't play all the strings. It's stupid to just run your finger along the whole edge of the harp, back and forth, and go. What you do is you pick out with your fingers, select just like on the piano. You don't go brum. You pick out certain notes, and these make the patterns. But at the same time as you pick out, you reject what you don't pick out. But it's all there, constituting a fundamental continuity, the kind of continuity of the thread as they go to the back of the woven material and make up the obverse of the pattern that's on the front. Now, the question that is absolutely basic for all human beings is, what have you left out? You see? You are focused on certain things that constitute what you call everyday reality. Look, you single out people and you see them sitting all around. And you know there are things that are really there. And then behind the people are the houses or whatever we live in, and the earth, and behind all that the sky, and so on. But we see the world as a collection of rather disjointed events and things. And I might say to you as you came in here today, now, my goodness, you all forgot something. What did you forget? And you think, my goodness, did I put my pants on? Did I wear a sweater? Did I put my glasses and my hair on, or my wig or whatever? And no, it's none of that. Well, something you've forgotten. See, everybody's forgotten something. You left it out. You just missed it. See? And so I can bring this out, what you've forgotten, if I ask you, who are you? Well, you say, I'm Paul Jones, or whatever your name happens to be. I say, oh, no, don't give me that stuff. Who are you really? And you think, whoa, of course I'm just me. No, don't give me that. I don't want to hear all that nonsense. You're playing a trick on me. Really, deep down, who are you? I don't know. Well, that's the thing to find out. That's the thing that's been forgotten. See, that's the underside of the tapestry, the thing that's been left out. Because what we are carefully taught to ignore is that every one of us, fundamentally, deep inside, let's put it that way, is an act of, a function of, a performance of, a manifestation of the works. The whole blinking cosmos, with all its galaxies, and forever and ever and ever, whatever it is beyond that, what you might call God in the Western tradition, or Brahman in Hindu philosophy, or Tao in Chinese. Every one of us is really that, but we are pretending we aren't. And we're pretending with tremendous skill and deception. Now, what I would call a really swinging human being is a person who lives on two levels at once. He's able to live on the level of being his ordinary ego, his everyday personality, and play his role in life and observe all the rules and so on that go with that. But if he's only on that level, if he's only playing that kind of thing and thinks that's all there is, it becomes a drag. And he starts being the kind of person who feels that he's just got to go on surviving. See? It's terribly important to go on surviving, to live. And he works at that. And his children learn the same attitude from him. And they, he says, well, I've got to survive because I've got all these children I've got to support, and so on and so forth. And then they take the same attitude, and they breed up children, and they feel compulsive about supporting them, because they've got to go on. And so nobody really has any fun. It's just, we got to make this thing, you see? And you don't have to. See, whenever I get somebody who comes to me and says, I really can't go on and I have to commit suicide, I say, well, that's entirely, you're right. There's really no reason why you should go on, and if you want to commit suicide, do it. You can check out. Of course, this reduces anxiety. When they feel free to commit suicide, they don't really have to commit suicide so much. You can commit partial suicide. So the sense that you just have to go on living, see, that life is a must. When you say to anything spontaneous, see, life is spontaneous. It happens, in the words of the Taoists, Ziran, which means of itself so. That's their Chinese expression for nature. What happens by itself, what isn't pushed, but it just pops up, you see? Like, gee, I'll never forget, there was a great Zen master I knew once in New York. He was giving a lecture one evening, and he was dressed in his gold ceremonial robes, and he was sitting in front of an altar like this sort of thing, but he had a table in front of him with very formal, with candles on it, and a sutra scripture on a little desk, and he was lecturing on the sutra. And he said, fundamental principle in Buddhism is no purpose, purposelessness. When you drop fart, you don't say, at 9 o'clock I drop fart. It happened of itself. You know, and all these pious Western devotees, you know, kind of put their handkerchiefs in their mouths and try not to laugh. You know? So, but that's the meaning of something that happens of itself, like drop fart or have hiccups or just you came into being, you know? It happens in a kind of a plop way like that. See? Now, you can't tell that process. You ought to happen. You must happen. Because that puts a bind on it. In the same way as when you have a little child and all the relatives have come to a party on Thanksgiving, and you put the child into the middle of all the relatives and say, now, dear, play. See, it absolutely bugs the child to do it like that. And so this is the problem for every artist. Because an artist is a man who makes his living by playing, whether he's dancing or painting or playing music or whatever it is. And he has to overcome this problem. He has to know how to play in public at a given time on an appointment. See? Now that's not an easy thing to learn. But when you catch on to the trick of it, you can do it. To play on demand. That's the hardest lesson of life. To contrive what is called by my Japanese artist friend Saburo Hasegawa a controlled accident. The thing is that we have been educated to use our minds in a certain way, a way that ignores or screens out the fact that every one of us is an aperture through which the whole cosmos looks out. You see, it's as if you had a light covered with a black ball, and in this ball were pinholes, and each pinhole is an aperture through which the light comes out. So in that way, every one of us is actually a pinhole through which the fundamental light, that is the existence itself, looks out. Only the game we're playing is not to know this. To be only that little hole, which we call me, my ego, my specific John Jones, or whatever.
Right.
Do you have your coffee, sir?
Coffee made.
It is coffee talk, isn't it? Yeah.
Coffee made. So,
Mm.
I can't remember where we got to.
Do we ever get to anywhere, really?
No, we don't. We don't. So I'm going to dive
In
in the
motion.
chat room. I'm going to dive in the chat room and shout out the chat room. Forever Love. Thank you for being here, DN. Jennifer Flores. Thank you for the PayPal. And Bogey Views. And DN and Johnny Man. I wish I could just remember everybody that was in here. Zal Moxis. For some reason, I can't. If I try and bring anybody to mind, it just. Jess Palmer. I'm going to miss people because I'm skimming through it so quick. Tamay. Nigel. And do you know what? Brian Evans is probably here as well. I bet Brian Evans
Most
is
probably we don't see him
and
here, eh?
and I'm just not seeing him in the thing.
I do have pop out, chat pop out. There we go.
Here he is, Invisible Man. The Invisible Man. Forever Love.
He's hanging in there.
I'm trying to give you a I'm trying to give you a wrench and it's just an error. It won't actually let me give you a wrench.
YouTube band. Eh? Foes in high places.
Same with it's strange. Same with Bogey Views. It's not letting me wrench people up. Interesting.
I guess I'm looking at Magic Treehouse now.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah, it's not
I
letting
guess
me.
the restream is both chats.
Restream is both chats. Yeah, the restreams both of them are coming up, but I think there's only 2 people in the 007.
Having their own conversation.
So if you are 007 and you want to come over to the Magic Treehouse, there's the link.
Everyone's in the treehouse.
Everyone's in the treehouse, man.
Oi,
I like
oi.
the Magic Treehouse. It's like
G'day, mate.
It's a real place in my mind. This just awesome magical treehouse where it's a bit like the TARDIS, but it's not. It's like
the best movie set ever, right?
Yeah, man. There's a huge.
It transforms. Does it transform?
There's a fireplace. There's a fire pit, right?
Library.
Yeah, man. I mean, I haven't thought about the library. The library's up on a different level. It's up on a balcony. There's like a balcony level in the library.
You gotta think the Magic Treehouse itself is the library sort of thing. It probably travels. So you travel to where you need to go, view it from the Magic Treehouse, where you can observe and ponder with a big fat cigar, coffee, and a fireplace. Right.
And sunlight, dappled sunlight.
That's what you need up here, right? You need a fireplace going. Where's your backgrounds, man?
Yeah, so I could upload. I can't use my backgrounds on StreamYard because I'm not paying. So
Because
and
they're
so it's the
nasty
same.
poo pants.
The only way I can share the pictures I want to share is like I like this on Restream because you can put it on a loop and it just loops. So I made a video that I could just put on a loop, but you can't do that in StreamYard. You can't loop the video. Yeah, Jennifer, for some reason it's not letting me I'm trying to give forever love and
Wrenchless. You're wrenchless. Yeah.
and
I'm not blue.
use,
Da.
but it just keeps saying error, try again, error, try again.
Computer
Okay,
says
so
no.
I've reboot.
Computer says no.
I've refreshed the screen and everything.
Unique, different, special. Yeah.
It's just being difficult with me. I will sort it out though. But yeah, if I'm gonna go live with some music, I'm gonna need to take the dogs out. So we might have just had a coffee break to just come back and close up because I need to.
My dog goes nuts.
You got a boigler.
Well, it was one bark. It's just the bugger off, probably.
Yeah. Maybe it's wildlife of some sort.
Just let me know. You know, if it's a couple more and I have to get up and go out, then it's something else. But usually you just go to the door and you go, all right, what's going on? What's going on? He's like, it's all cool now. It's all cool now. We're good now. We're good.
Yeah.
You know.
Bogey.
If he actually keeps going, I have to go, then there's definitely something there as well that I need to do a look around, you know, perimeter check.
Thankfully it's not raining here, hippie shake. And I'll moan about the clouds. The clouds aren't even really that bad, you know. It's just the fact that they are there. If they were natural, it wouldn't bother me. But they're not. So I know it's because of they've been spraying at night. It just really offends me every time. I shouldn't let it, but it does. It offends me every time I look up at the sky and see they've done it again. They've done it again. Like, who's authorizing this? Because they need to be.
It's a long-standing thing where you see it's only gotten more intense. You know, it hasn't backed off any. Right, but this has been going for years and years and years and years, right?
Much longer.
It's a long-standing thing.
Yeah, like decades. This has been going on for decades, man.
So it's like it's in a pattern. It's in the budget. It just keeps getting every year same thing, same thing, same thing. A little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. But I think there's many ways of controlling weather as well. There's actually many ways of doing it, subtle ways. Even if people are unaware of what they're doing, they're still messing with the weather nonetheless, you know. Like radio stations and stuff as well, like just communications and stuff. Has big pattern events as well, where you can even see it within the cloud system, like a fake cloud. You see a fake cloud system, and then you see a electromagnetic pattern within that as well. Same pattern every time too, when you observe it, right? From the same radial position sort of thing. You know, so that's also, you know, that's shit upon shit, really. That's like shit upon shit that we have to deal with, sort of thing. Part of that, I think, is that connection to, like, not only that connection downward to the ground and reconnecting with Earth, but it's going up central through all that bullshit, to be honest, is the goal there. And that connection all the way. So I think then we're in a position of that's kind of the maximum I feel I can do for it, you know, in terms of holding my own position within the system that's presented here, you know. As far as, you know, what you can do with moving if you need to and stuff like that, because there's better places to go, but you know, it's a systemic sort of thing where it has to sort of fail in on itself, destroy in on itself. So that always gets worse, you know, and it's at its worst moment, it crumbles completely. Will we see that? I don't know. You know, it seems like a lot of the time life carries on, and as your perceptions change, you know, as well as you guide your life as well. I think that has a big part of it.
Right, my video has finally uploaded. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play out on this video that I've just uploaded, so it's sort of a premiere. And then I'm going to take the dogs for a walk, and then I'm going to end this stream at the end of this video, and I'll be back at 3 o'clock with some live music healing. So if you've got any requests, if you want to listen to some me singing some songs, basically glorified karaoke, really. But there we go. Yeah, just I'll be back at 3 o'clock. I'm gonna find this video. It's 7 minutes 22 seconds long, and you really don't have to watch it. It's just me moaning about what I'm seeing, and this is a few days worth of like this is from the 4th of March. The first video is on the 4th of March, and then it's days since then, basically up until today. The last video is from today. So let me just share this. And it's got the God of War theme change to it, because this is a war on our habitat. I'm sure you can all see this. Right. Thank you very much, peeps. Thank you very much, Callum.
Much love.
Hopefully same sort of time tomorrow. If you're still up and about,
Probably.
I might go live earlier. I don't know. Or maybe I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what tomorrow. We don't know what tomorrow's going to bring yet. Shout out to the chat room, to everybody taking part in the chat. Shout out to DN, man. That's brilliant news about this holiday thing. Can't think of anybody that deserves it more. Hippie Shake and Jolly Man, Bogey Views, Forever Love, Zalmoxis, Sterling. Hey, dude, Sterling, mate. Yeah, I'm going live with music at 3 o'clock. You said something about Dan's birthday and going on his stream. I don't know. Right, yeah, if he's going live, just tell him to come into, like, just come into my live stream at 3, the live music healing session at 3, and I'll dedicate a half an hour to him, like requests and whatever. Leafy, shout out Leafy, TW as well, Jennifer Flores, Hippie Shake, Brian Evans, and anybody that I'm missing because they're not chatting very much. Once again, thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. And you got 7.5 minutes to keep chatting. One day I'm going to come outside and I'm not going to see this anymore. They've been geoengineering for a really long time, much longer than they have admitted to anybody, much longer than you realise. And if you haven't noticed already, they have changed the weather everywhere. Tenerife is no longer Tenerife. You can't count on the weather anymore. Spain is no longer Spain. Portugal is no longer Portugal as far as the weather's concerned. And the UK has had terrible weather for as long as I can remember. But yeah. So, I don't know about you, but I never gave any permission anywhere to anyone to alter the weather. The unbelievable arrogance of people thinking that they can mess with something that they never designed. They have no idea how it works, yet they think that they can manipulate it without huge, serious problems for the rest of us. So maybe it's time we did something about it. When I arrived here in Tenerife, April 2015, there were no chemtrails being sprayed ever here. For 2 years, no chemtrails. And I noticed it because I come from Portugal, where the skies were completely laden with chemicals from the chemtrails that they were spraying. I moved here in 2015 and there were no chemtrails and no clouds like this. It didn't happen. We had perfect weather every day, pretty much, all year round. There were no seasons, never got cold, never went below 18 degrees, never got too hot, never got cold. And now, in 2017, they started spraying, and I made a note of it. In 2017, they started spraying heavily. And since 2017, since about 6 months after they started spraying, the weather here changed. And it's been changed ever since. It's no longer reliable. It gets cold. It's wet. It's damp. It's incredibly damp here now. Never used to be damp. Damp is an issue for me. I notice when it's damp almost instantly because it gets into my bones, which have been severely damaged through my life. So I know when it's damp, and I know that when I got here in 2015, it was never damp. Since they started spraying in 2017, damp all the time. So they've screwed our weather. Ever gonna stop pointing this out? I'm never gonna stop screaming about it and getting really angry. I think I don't understand why there aren't more people. Why more people aren't getting really up in arms and furiously angry about this. They're messing with the weather. They're spraying chemicals into the air, into the sky. Those chemicals fall down. Heavy metals, toxic chemicals, all kinds of crap. The stuff that they spray up there, you can't even pronounce half of it. So I just want to know, when are we going to make it stop? I'm ever going to stop pointing this out. I'm never going to stop screaming about it and getting really angry. I think I don't understand why there aren't more people. why more people aren't getting really up in arms and furiously angry about this. They're messing with the weather. They're spraying chemicals into the air, into the sky. Those chemicals fall down. Heavy metals, toxic chemicals, all kinds of crap. The stuff that they spray up there, you can't even pronounce half of it. So, I just want to know, when are we going to make it stop?